a history lesson from one of the folks here. Fort Klamath, frontier military post established in 1863. There's a museum now, which I spent almost an hour and a half with this wonderful, informative young gentleman. Wow.
The leaders of a Native American Indian group called the Modocs.
Right, which was sort of the First Nation Indians who was down here.
They were one of them.
Okay.
One of the tribes, nations, whatever, were that lived in this general area. They had to share it with the Klamaths and different bands of Paiute and Rogue River Indians and Pit River Indians and this.
It's a god house, folks. God house. You know what that means, right? A god house. That's where they kept the prisoners, Indian prisoners. All this land was part of the jail. And the mission for managing the land, stealing the land, I should say.
Been there for 10 years before that. Huh. And they had a previous guardhouse where they temporarily detained.
What was of the last of the detention that was lively active here?
They used this. I'm pretty sure they used this guardhouse later for detaining soldiers who were violating
the rules of the land.
You know, quite often
rules of the state.
What they might have been doing is they're not supposed to be the place.
Huh.
And that's some of what they literally did at the Southern Oregon University Archaeology did it. And this just represents a fraction of the bottles they recovered there.
Okay.
So he sold, I'm sure they had several post traders, but from the time they established the post in 1863 and probably through to then, there was a post trader. And he wasn't supposed to sell alcohol to the natives, i.e. the Indians, which after the Modoc War included the Klamaths and the Modocs who didn't fight the army.
Oh, the army.
Beds,
Did they part with the army at some point? No.
The army left
just to help them through progress, I guess, through the land.
Well, yeah, the army, and after the wars, the Indian wars were over in the Northwest here, the last one was late 1870s. They still maintained a poster because they deployed to other parts of the West to deal with trouble. But by 1880, there's no more point in having a poster, so the army abandoned it, basically. And there was about the same time, within a year, they established this fort. They established an Indian reservation.
Okay.
And that included the Klamaths, the Modocs, and the Huskin band of the Paiute.
Right.
Now, the Paiute, that particular band had been fighting in an earlier war in the 1860s, and they gave up. So when you gave up, when the natives gave up, they were put on a reservation.
Sure.
And the government was obliged to feed them then.
Are those reservations still, as you go on 97 North?
Yeah, there's one active. The Warm Springs Reservation is very much as a matter of Northwest. This is a kind of rifle. It's an original Spencer repeating carbine. It was quite a revolutionary weapon for its time in the Civil War, and even on the frontier too, because you could. It wasn't a single shot. In fact, it wasn't just a breech loader. You could load 7 rounds through the buttstock.
Oh, true. I've never heard of that before.
You could lever around into the chamber and you can put it. And a good man with this could do 17 to 21 rounds a minute.
Gosh, I've never seen this contraption.
Oh yeah, it was a war winner for the Union, for the Northern forces. They had an infantry rifle version in this, and I think they made like 120,000 of them. At the same time, they didn't make nearly as many of them. They were kind of a new one. It was called the Henry repeating rifle.
Right.
2,000-3,000 men, and they were mounted them, but they carried Spencer infantry rifles. Same mechanism, just longer barrel, and could take a bayonet.
And it's heavier, I presume.
Yeah, heavier, yeah. These, you'd be surprised, these are, even though they're smaller, they're heavier.
Heavier than
that or my muzzle loader over there.
That's mainly constructed of wood, right?
Well, the stocks
wood, yeah.
But the functioning parts, the business parts are steel.
Right. Were you sort of